Hey, Malaya.
Hello, Alice.
I just woke up out my sleep and get straight to that money. We've been through a lot, but I know better days coming. We've been through a lot, but I know better days coming. We've been through a lot, but I know we gon' be okay for sure. I know how to spend it all, get it back. We've been trying to spend it all, and then make it. Used to ask me what I want out of life. I couldn't answer that. I told my dog we ain't living right. He turned around and laughed. How the fuck we ended up on this liquor, but not no business? How the fuck you scared to help out your nigga, but tricking on these bitches? I just wanna be different. You know, sometimes changes for the better, that's just real shit. So it's beneficial putting yourself around some real niggas. They ain't asking nothing from me, they just wanna see me win. That shit made me analyze my friends. I went broke, got rich, went broke, got rich again. I went broke, got rich, went broke, got rich again. That shit made it ain't no love lost. We ain't gotta be around each other, I still love y'all. I'm in this world, my struggles, I'm going out. If you my brother, fuck a fall out. Know we in this shit forever. Been through so much shit that I can't sleep nights. Ain't nothing slow me down, I'm in shit. On the road to success, I lost a lot of friends. Niggas try to count me out, now they gotta count me in. Don't nobody owe me nothing, make 10 and my doorman runners out. Been in the trenches all my life, just ask my mama. I've been there wrong, finally back, just ask my brothers. I don't like you, you don't like me, we don't trust each other. Three-letter gang. Big three, big three. It's three-letter gang. Big three, big three, big three. It's three-letter gang. Big three, big three, big three, big threes. Big three, big three, big three, big threes. Big gang. Shit, free gang. I still putting on for the this. I still putting on for the hood. Everywhere I go, I swear they love me. You might not know what that feel like. I still putting on for the hood. Everywhere I go, I swear they love me. You might not know what that feel like. Gotta know we talking this shit real life. We're just waiting on a green light. Take a nigga life, I don't be tiny. I can't do no new friends. Had to cut off all my loose ends. I think I done ran out of trust. I think I done ran out of love. Ooh, you gotta know I had to run it up. Got out the mud with the same one. Like you gotta know we lit right now. You gotta know the difference when you see me now. Still get the same love. Still want all my day one niggas. I ain't never switch up. I ain't never bitch out. No way. Same old thug. Came from the mother. Found me a plug. Ran it up. Niggas wishing they was me, but I'm one of 100,000 ain't enough. I need some real money. Bought a whole bricker off of bill money. Look, shout out Lil Bruno, he gon' kill for me. How you bragging about your shoe that I ain't killed nothing? I'm tryna point all my dogs to the million. Had to tell them be patient, cause my time about to come. Had to tell these old heads like your time running out. Like just another rich young nigga. Big guns with it. Like I know you see the difference when you see me now. Yeah, I came up, but I ain't changed. Still putting on for the hood. Everywhere I go, I swear they love me. You might not know what that feel like. Gotta know we talking this shit real life. We're just waiting on the green light. Take a nigga life, I don't be tiny. I can't do no new friends. Had to cut off all my loose ends. I think I done ran out of trust. I think I done ran out of love.
Still putting on for the set. Got it right now, fucking next. A rap bitch still gonna be a right. Putting on for a check. Like shit on me, but it flex. Nigga, if you told you, they ask me, take shit back like that. Why she hold deal like that? Only boss bitches feel like that. She in the hood like that. Wish a nigga would like that. Bitches understood cause I'm good where I'm at. Make me box them in. All that dick suck they doing, come and top me in. Since they going with they flow, tell them stop me in. I don't go nowhere with hoes cause they might be in. Ain't no might be friends. Some bitches hate me or they jealous. It could be the kid or a nigga, ain't no telling this shit real life. Ass tat, but it's still nice. Cat back and it's still tight. Copped another chain quick. I still wear the same shit. I can tell when bitches lame by the bitches that they hang with. I hustle for a weight, bitch. Grew up from the slums in the mud, getting love where they take shit.
Everywhere I go, I swear they love me. You might not know what that feel like.
Hello, Marissa.
I'm just waiting on the green light. Take a nigga like I don't be tiny. I can't do no new friends. Had to cut off all my losers. I think I done ran out of trust. I think I done ran out of love. Ooh.
How you doing, everybody? Alice, Marissa, the other 8 people or whatever. Yeah, kind of did this for one reason at first. Had a little discussion this morning, and while trying to explain that both people that are running for the leader of our country are both fucking idiots, because everybody was, saying that the present one, all the things that he is and what they think he or say, their opinions on how bad he is. And so I tried to tell them both have dementia. I may be wrong, I'm not a doctor, but they both seem like they have dementia. Marianne, Dr. Nick, how you doing? Appreciate you coming in. And I said a couple things that he said, because they were saying like Biden can't remember nothing. Well, neither can the other idiot. So, and I said something about the time during COVID, how Trump gave misinformation about UV light and disinfectant. And he did not say to disinfect the body. He was using disinfectant as a cleaner. But somebody tried to say that, which maybe they're biased or misinformed. I don't know. But trying to tell somebody something when 3 people are talking, besides me, when I was trying to explain something, you have one person constantly interrupting, and then another one saying stuff about basically Michelle Obama's got a dick and called her Mike, and the other one's trying to correct me on the disinfectant thing. So it's kind of hard to get a point across when they're not listening to the message that the former idiot was saying. First, I did describe it as bleach. The reason why I said bleach is because it is a strong and effective disinfectant, which the wordage matters, but it really doesn't, because I didn't use the word disinfectant, but the former idiot said disinfectant. He did not say bleach. But bleach is a disinfectant. So I was correct, but my verbiage was wrong. If that's the correct word to say, verbiage. The word was wrong. Bleach. Do not listen to anybody that gives you medical advice that has never been in the medical profession. Remember that. Don't ever. Especially somebody that fucking spray tans their skin and claims to be a leader. But, okay, the word, then after it was said, tell me where he said inject. I showed them. They listened, but they weren't listening because he did say the word inject. But anyways, one thing, disinfectant is a chemical that kills bacteria. Bacteria is a living cell. Disinfectant is used to kill bacteria and viruses on hard surfaces, inanimate objects. Not the body. You can maybe use it on the skin, but you cannot put it in you. Don't try it. Don't do it. No, don't do it. It's not advised by CDC. There's been warnings from poison control. Don't fucking do it. But I proved that point. Okay, now virus is a molecule and it's non-living. So disinfectant is to kill living, or eliminate, I should say, eliminate living cells. A virus is a non-living molecule, which is made up of atoms, or multiple, well, 2 or more. Now, a cell does have molecules, but they're living molecules. Viruses have a non-living molecule that needs a host. They attach to a host so they can suck it of its life form. So using disinfectant on a non-living molecule will not work because it's non-living. Disinfectant kills living bacteria, not non-living. Let's get that straight. So the message was missed because somebody was too interested in telling me I am giving out misinformation by using the word bleach, and he did not say inject, which he did. And I will play it. Maybe you guys can understand it. And maybe if he's watching, he can understand it this time.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does it.
Did you hear that?
That
He
has
said
an injection.
injection.
And
Thing
then I
was
said, supposing you
injected.
brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or
He said disinfectant.
in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant that knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets in the lungs and it
Okay.
does a tremendous number of
Now,
lungs.
somebody was trying to make me look like a liar. He said it twice. Well, he said it once. I played it twice. Okay. After that, there was a 121% increase in calls to the poison control. I think it was done March 23rd or 24th was the news conference with this that I just played. Between then and the first week of March, calls went in 121% higher than normal. There was even an Arizona man that died ingested a disinfectant. Him and his wife. The wife survived. I think she was in critical condition or very bad condition, whatever. The husband passed away. Multiple people were trying that just because of bleach will kill the virus outside the body. Even that's on the skin because it's a surface. Inside is not the surface. It will kill it on a surface, a hard, inanimate object surface, a dresser, a table, shit like that. Not inside the body. Never try that. Never. I don't know where people get this idea of they're trying to be an apologist or explain their way or his way out of a bullshit lie. Now, I don't like neither one of them. I've always said over 70, they shouldn't even be able to run. Those ages, people start to lose a mental capacity. Not all, but people do. Some don't even last. Probably most don't even last it to 70. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in other countries they do. Not in Michigan. Not the people that I know. Most of them are gone before 70. I don't know. Maybe in your neighborhood they do. I don't know. But anyways. And if it wasn't an issue, then why did the CDC and poison control have to go out and put a warning out immediately after he said that? Almost immediately, the next day or the day after, I think it was the next day, and to put out warnings not to do what he said. Even Clorox bleach company put out a warning, do not do this. Whenever a president speaks from the press room, it is for factual stuff. Not studies or hearsay or maybes. It is for factual stuff because that is the press room where information is spread. It's not a room to give hearsays or opinions. It is to make factual comments about things that need to be done or things that have happened. Not some cockamamie bullshit. And yes, people lack common sense, so a lot of people start believing that. When I say a lot, hey, 20 is a lot. Not talking about half the country. I'm not talking about over half the country. 20 is too many to think that they can ingest something, a chemical like that. That's scary for somebody to spread that information alone, for me to say something like that. But when the president has the what I call has the megaphone, he has the voice that reaches far lands. Megaphone. He speaks. His words are loud and clear. At least they're supposed to be. But when some buffoon gets up there and suggests stupid shit, that's dangerous. If you want to back that guy, fine. I don't fucking care. But he's a buffoon. The other guy, self-explanatory. I mean, he's getting old. He probably shouldn't be in there. In my book, he shouldn't. But at least he's going to listen to the people that understand things and have the knowledge. At least he'll listen. This other buffoon that was the former leader, he don't listen. He gives misinformation. And it comes out of his mouth like diarrhea out your ass. Yeah, he said, is there a way for the light, the UV light, to put it inside the body? You can't do that either. UV light is used for fish tanks to kill algae and other bacteria, but is not used on salt water life, such as reefs and other biological species, because that could UV light eliminates everything in its path. Too much of it. You can't do that. There is therapies for UV for cancer, but that's the surface. You can't put it in high beam or whatever inside the body. No, it's not. Probably not good. Fuck you, Swerty. He said inject, Eddie. I played it. Maybe this guy can explain it a little better to you.
Morning, guy. People that are friends of mine, people that I, under normal circumstances, would trust in a lot of ways, that are trying to use this excuse to explain away what Donald Trump actually said yesterday, which in very clear, I don't understand this, guys. I don't understand. We are in really, really serious times, okay? We are in dire circumstances. People are being put in circumstances to protect each other. This is a slam dunk for a president who might be able to speak better, to empathize better, to be a leader. Do you remember why we well, not me, but why America hired this guy? I hire good people. I am a businessman. I can close deals. I can put systems together is basically what he was trying to say. I'm good at this. I can handle people. I'm good at people. I own multi-billion-dollar companies. He's driving America into the ground. You guys know that, right? I mean, this isn't to most sensible Americans, but there's a lot of people out there. And
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
I know some of them. Some of them are my friends that are Trump.
He's making a suggestion. You don't make suggestions.
Apparently, I know some
in the press room.
Commenting on my Facebook about this current disinfectant light debacle. If you have to read between the lines of the president of the United States, then maybe there's a problem with the president of the United States. It's not IKEA. This isn't like how to put together this table, which happens to be IKEA, or this table here. It wasn't instructions. Insert tab A into slot B. Insert chlorine bleach into your skin. Okay, Daily Wire, which is a Trump basically apology website. They quote unquote debunked this Donald Trump quote that happened yesterday. Donald Trump did not tell people to inject themselves with disinfectant or drink bleach. Okay, Daily Wire, you got me on that one. He didn't say those exact quotes. Let me tell you what he did say. Well, let me set up some context. So Bill Bryant, the Undersecretary for Science and Technology, hopefully a smart guy, was talking to the press.
My name is Bill Bryant, and I lead the Science and Technology Directorate at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Our most striking observation to date is the powerful effect that solar light appears to have on killing the virus, both surfaces and in the air. When you see the word surface, we're talking about non-porous surfaces, door handles, stainless steel. And as the humidity increases, with no sun involved, you can see how drastically the half-life goes down on that virus. You inject the sunlight into that, you inject UV rays into that, the same effects on line 2 at 70 to 75 degrees with 80% humidity on the surface, and look at line 4, but now you inject the sun, the half-life goes from 6 hours to 2 minutes. The virus does not survive as well in droplets of saliva, and that's important because a lot of testing being done is not necessarily being done, number one, with the COVID-19 virus, and number two, in saliva or respiratory fluids. We're also testing disinfectants, readily available. We've tested bleach, we've tested isopropyl alcohol on the virus, specifically in saliva or in respiratory fluids. And I can tell you that bleach will kill the virus in 5 minutes. Isopropyl alcohol will kill the virus in 30 seconds. And that's with no manipulation, no rubbing, just spraying it on and leaving it go. You rub it and it goes away even faster. We're also looking at other disinfectants, specifically looking at the COVID-19 virus in saliva.
I
I have a query. There's a really powerful cleaner called a UV sterilizer. It's basically a tube with a little ultraviolet light that puts out a very powerful ultraviolet light. Water passes through it, and the light will kill anything in that water. And so out the other end comes in non-biological agents, algae and things like this. It'll kill it all. It's indiscriminate as a killer, as a matter of fact, which is why you can't put it on any reef tanks, because in reef tanks you have a very, very symbiotic biological system in most cases. So
let me back this up 1 second, because he doesn't say it, but he puts it on.
I put it on this table. A very powerful ultraviolet light. Water passes through it. Because in reef tanks, you have a very, very symbiotic biological system in most cases.
See where it says right there? Sort of like the inside of the body.
So along with the killing of algae, you're going to kill little little bacteria that feed the other bacteria, little critters that are going to grow into big critters. They're going to end up being part of the larger ecosystem. You're going to end up sterilizing the entire system. It's an indiscriminate killer. Okay, so he was talking about how if I had COVID-19, I coughed on this cup. I don't have COVID-19. I put it on this table. The light or a light source that could be put over it, like a wand or something with UV light, could kill that virus. We've tested bleach. We've tested isopropyl alcohol, specifically on saliva and respiratory fluids. Do you know why they say respiratory fluids? Because this thing, although it gets in your lungs when you cough, when you breathe, you know what comes out of your mouth? Respiratory fluids and saliva. And those respiratory and fluids and saliva will get on things, like that cabinet back there. And you know, if it gets on that cabinet back there and somebody touches it, they could get it on their hands and get it in their mouth. It's a very serious issue. The study is a very serious study. If it gets on that cabinet, how are we going to stop it from getting off that cabinet into somebody else's mouth? That was the purpose of what he was talking about. He was not talking about the human treatments, other than maybe putting something topically on your arm, or light if you go outside, possibly, you know, do a suntan on your backyard, alone, isolated, social distancing. Maybe you could do some good, possibly. He wasn't saying anything about ingesting it. It wasn't even the purpose of what he was talking about. Not only that, but it is criminally negligent to offer these sorts of things. We'll get into that later. So this is the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire is laying out my argument here. We've tested bleach, we've tested isopropyl alcohol on the virus, on surfaces. And I can tell you that bleach will kill the virus in 5 minutes. Okay, so bleach will kill it in 5 minutes. Light in a minute, and isopropyl alcohol in like 30 seconds. So isopropyl alcohol, bleach, light. So Donald Trump says this, and this is from the Daily Wire, okay? This is defending Trump. And this is specifically to my friends here. The rest of us can watch this and sort of hate watch it because it is probably one of the pastimes that we find drives us the most crazy during this time. Oh, let me just say.
Can I ask Joe a question that probably some of you are thinking of if you're totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting?
Okay, first of all, when Donald Trump says a lot of these things, I'm gonna ask him a question. A lot of people are asking this question. Well, this is because this question is clanking around in his head. I was watching. It certainly wasn't a question in my head. This was not a question in my head. So don't put words in typical Americans' mouths and minds.
So supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it.
Okay. Suppose we hit the body with a lot of light. Okay. Suntan, the outer layer of your body. This is somewhat sensible, right? Okay. Not something I thought about. Maybe something I extrapolated. Light kills it. You go out in light, it'll kill it. I think any doctor would probably agree that, okay, well, I mean, light's going to kill it on that cabinet just as easy as light's going to kill it on an exposed surface on your body. But okay.
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting.
This is crazy, okay? And a bunch of you have been apologizing for him and saying, well, you know, there's a type of UV therapy for cancer where light goes into the body and it's used as therapy. Do you really think that that's what he's talking about? Do you really think that he's thinking quite specific and literally? I mean, if he was thinking that, maybe he would say ultraviolet light therapy, right? Ultraviolet light therapy is an ultraviolet phototherapy in a form of treatment for certain skin disorders, including atopic skin disorder and vitiligo, when used with Sorlin to form a PUVA treatment. I looked that up on Google. It's an actual therapy that where they use ultraviolet light. It sounds very topical, and it sounds like possibly when he was going through a walkthrough previously, he heard something. His brain latched onto it. He brought it into the White House briefing room, and he threw it up. This is something. The White House briefing room is not designed for this. The White House briefing room is designed for concrete facts, statistics, and concrete therapies. Even if he's right. Oh, I heard you guys were talking about something that might help. No. That's not what the White House briefing room is for. White House briefing room is for concrete information that gives people hope and direction, not ideas that he heard previously. I think what he saw is the episode of Blade. The lead character is a vampire hunter, and he found a way to put light into bullets so that when he shoots vampires, they explode, die. What a great way to inject light into a body. I mean, okay, I'm being humorous here, facetious and a bit stupid, but the whole fucking conversation is pretty damn stupid. So he's sitting there. I'll tell you what, guys. Yesterday I was watching TV and I saw this video of this guy. He was killing a lot of vampires, and his bullets, they had some real light in them. And he shot these vampires, and they blew up. Now, normal people aren't vampires, but the light can still kill the virus. Okay, now I've been told that voice is less Donald Trump and more Caddyshack. So choose what character you may to match that voice up with. But you got to listen to the way that he delivers. And I'm sorry, guys, that's just the way he talks. Donald Trump, he's not good with words. Donald Trump, he's got a fourth grade vocabulary. Donald Trump, he can't put together complex sentences. Yeah, Donald Trump, he might say something, but he means something else. Donald Trump, he just says stuff. Donald Trump, he just thinks on the fly. How many of these apologies are we going to make? Donald Trump, he goes with his gut. That's why he didn't follow South Korea's act. He wanted to defer the virus. Donald Trump, he's going to get attacked. Whatever he says, that's another really interesting. Donald Trump, he's going to get attacked. Whatever he says, that was a defense for Donald Trump not acting sooner to prevent.
That's what I was thinking.
Donald Trump. If he said he was going to lock down the country before there was any viruses, he was going to be attacked. You defend him for holding back on sensible action in one side, but you defend him for nonsensical instant action for something he heard previously in another. It's like you contort yourself into pretzels to defend this guy.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it.
I think you said that hasn't been checked. You know what this is? This is a power move to make him feel smarter and feel like he knows more than other people, right? I think that hasn't been checked, right, guys? Remember that thing we talked about that nobody else knows? I know it. Remember? You remember that thing that nobody else knows, but I know? You're going to check on that, right? I know more than everybody else. Yeah, you're going to check on that, right? Come on. This is the White House fucking briefing room, guy. Okay, now that was a Canadian South Park reference.
Look, guy, we have to stay strong.
That's why he said that, right? It's so easy to see how he puts together sentences and why.
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way.
I didn't want nothing to do with life no more. Meet Lucero, a person whose vibrant spirit was dimmed by death.
Through the skin or in some other way.
Some other way? Okay, if you really wanted to validate his theory of ultraviolet light treatments, you would say, I've heard of something called UV light therapy. And from what I could tell, it was some sort of light that they could put into the body. Is that something that we could have? Now, okay, this is not a White House briefing allowable topic, just mind you. This is not designed for the White House briefing, but I'm playing devil's advocate here, which is a real stretch. But maybe he said something like this. My friend had some difficulty with something in the hospital the other day, and he had something called UV therapy. I realize I could have probably asked you this about an hour ago when we were in our briefing, but I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to do it now in front of the entire world here. You know, everybody's watching. This UV light therapy for my friend who had psoriasis, he had this UV therapy. Could this work? No, he didn't say that, which even if would be inexcusable.
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting.
This is him validating his own cockamamie idea in front of the entire world, mind you. Don't get me started on hydrochloroquine. Okay, now we get to the real batshit crazy stuff.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant.
Okay, now this is Daily Wire. This is them defending his words. And then I see the disinfectant. Okay, unquote, I'm going to take out disinfectant, referring to previously, we tested bleach, we tested isopropyl alcohol, and we've tested other disinfectants and light. Okay, this is what was said previously. This is what he's referring to. Maybe he didn't put that word bleach into this next sentence, but it's there. And if you can't join in the dots, you might need to take. Listen. Okay. Hold on.
Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see, it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with, but it sounds interesting to me.
So you're going to have to use medical doctors with, but it sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, so we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful. Steve, please.
Let's get into this again. White House briefing room. Talking about bleach, talking about isopropyl alcohol and disinfectants. Is there a way something like that can be injected? Or almost a cleaning of the lungs? Do you know how complicated and delicate the inside of the body is? Do you know what would happen if you put isopropyl alcohol or bleach or any disinfectant, any general disinfectant? This is what he's talking about. The guy previously, Brian, is talking about topical disinfectants to kill stuff on cabinets and surfaces, maybe even on the top of your skin, okay? That's a surface in the outside. But he wants to say, hey, I got a theory here. What if we put it inside the body? You know those disinfectants we were talking about earlier? He's not talking about some therapeutic medicine that works as a disinfectant. He's not talking about that, guys. We're so late in the game here. Come on. Stop it. He's talking about disinfectants. And here he says, by injection inside or almost cleaning.
Injection inside or almost a cleaning.
Now, a almost cleaning? Come on. If my daughter said something like that, she's 4. Honey, let the adults talk. It's time to put down that funny microphone you got and let the adults speak. All you got to do, guys, is look at the reactions of Dr. Birx. Look at the people around him. Look at the reaction of the reporters. It's not fake news when they take his words. It's not fake news. Please understand this. You are so dangerous for still supporting this kind of rhetoric. I hope there's not many of you out there. I hope it's just the loudest voices who are crying out in despair for the death throes of your support for this guy. I hope that the world is a large percentage more sensible than you. Come on. You know who you are. And I consider a lot of you guys my friends. But this is crazy. So the news reporter comes on and says,
But the president mentioned the idea of cleaner fleet, transfer protocol mentioned. There's no scenario that could be injected into a person, is there? I'm here to talk about the findings that we haven't studied. We don't do that within that lab, our labs.
this guy is in the president's cabinet. His job is to not buck what the president says. That was about as fine a dance as you can get by not directly saying the president's a moron, you shouldn't listen to him. Trump then clarifies his remarks.
So how we simplifying the direction about almost a cleaning, sterilization of an area? Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work.
Okay, this is the White House briefing room, guys. He said through injection.
By injection.
Now that he sees he's being railed on for a stupid idea, he's backtracking. And you know what, Daily Wire? You're so sweet. It says Trump then clarified his remarks. And then people all over the world that listen to what he said had to say, we urge Americans not to inject themselves with disinfectant. Action, reaction. So Philip Rucker of the Washington Post says, and I said it, and a million other people said this.
Especially, sir, you're the president, and people tuning into these briefings, they want to get information and guidance and want to know what to do. They're not looking for rumors.
I'm the president, and you're fake news. And you know what I'll say to you? I'll say very nicely, I know you well, because I know the guy, I see what he writes, he's a total faker. So are you ready? It's just a suggestion.
False hope, dangerous advice, narcissistic division. I mean, I'm the president, and you're fake news. Was he saying innuendo? Yeah. I mean, you're the president. That's a very obvious fact. People are tuning in not to look for rumors. They're looking for accurate information. And he replies that I'm the president and you're fake news. It just boggles my fucking mind. He's the president of the United States, guys. Like it or not. When he stands up to that podium, he represents all of us. Does he represent me? Unfortunately, as an American, yes. But does he represent you? Does that standing up and saying stuff that you have to twist yourself into? Listen, if you want to say that he was referring to something, if he was just referring to ultraviolet therapy, let him refer to that directly. Me and Dr. Birch earlier were talking about ultraviolet therapy. It's something that's been used in the past, and it seems like it might be something that can help. Even that would be dangerous. And I don't know how many of you guys that were arguing this are Trump or were Obama fans. I liked Obama. I liked the way he talked. At least if you can't think about anything, your hatred for Obama, which is founded in strange places, just listen to the way he talks. Listen to the way he delivers information. This is a leader. Put the words. I'll do my Obama voice. Suppose we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or powerful light. And I think you said, but we're going to test it. And then, supposing you brought that light inside the body, either through the skin or some other way. And then I see that disinfectant knocks it out in a minute. 1 minute. Is there a way we can do something like that? By injecting it inside. Almost like a cleaning. Because you see, it gets in the lungs and does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it would be interesting to check that. What if Obama said that? How would you guys feel? Honestly. read that to yourself a couple of times in Obama's voice. I do that a lot with Trump quotes. I'm imagining that some of you guys out there, if you put Obama's voice to what Trump says, would drive you fucking crazy. Hey guys, my name's Matt.
Yeah. So the whole thing, the argument, well, not argument, someone was trying to convince me and basically the chat and the panel that he did not say inject. Okay, he said injection. It's the same thing. Prove me wrong. The UV light thing was not really part of the specific argument that ended up being. But when three people are trying to narrow down one word that was being said, kind of like being apologetic or excusing what was said, the whole thing was said in the press room. The press room is for facts, not suggestions, not rumors, not helpful hints. It's for facts. And that's all that's to it. So go out and vote for who you want. Vote for Trump. Vote for Biden. Vote for your neighbor. I don't care. But use a little common sense. And understand when somebody is trying to convince you to do things that could harm you, I would suggest not to vote for that person. The other one is not much better of a choice, but I'd rather have that person over some person that's trying to suggest medical advice when he supposedly is a real estate mogul. Darlene, Big D, Eddie, number 2 Fries, DK, Snark and Sass, J Blues, McLovin, appreciate everybody for coming in. Johnny Yarbrough stopped in. Holy cow. Jasper, J.O., appreciate everybody for stopping in. Mike, appreciate everybody for stopping in. Thank you, Darlene, but you don't really have to. Nancy, how you doing? Appreciate everybody for stopping in. Yeah, and I agree. And that's my exact point. You know, it doesn't matter what this guy's background is. He's using common sense. You do not suggest idiotic, moronic things that could have possibly harmed people. People did try these things. At least, maybe not the light thing, but they did try to use disinfectants. That's scary because they were listening to somebody they looked up to, or they felt that told the truth all the time when it's proven that he doesn't. Now, I really would like one of the other people on the panel that this discussion was being had. If you're listening, you're more than welcome to come up here and spew your bullshit. But I will have to warn everybody in the chat. That some people believe in misinformation. So that's why they follow. I think it's very disturbing that 30 to 35% of the country are solidly behind a moron. That should be worrisome to anybody. But unfortunately, 40% to 45% don't care. It's only about the R or the D in front of the name. Unfortunately, I've voted for Republicans. I've voted for Democrats. I try to look at things from the middle or from the outside. I don't look at things the way others look at it. If I agree with them, that's probably because it sounds like common sense or it makes sense. And yes, and I agree with that, DK, or DK, Big D. Because of things they hear, they suddenly run to the other side. And they don't do the research. They don't look up the definitions of words. Look up the word disinfectant. Look up the word bacteria. Look up the word molecule. Find out which ones are living and which ones are not. Because disinfectant doesn't work on something that's not living. Maybe on the surface, but it ain't going to help the inside. I'll guarantee you that. I'm no scientist. I'm no doctor. Don't take my suggestions. Go look it up. Go ask a medical professional. Don't take the advice of fools. We all play the fool sometimes. It's in a song. But don't keep playing the fool. That is the problem. And the back of a Lysol can will tell you not to put it inside your body. Guy from Texas. You came in a little late, or maybe you weren't paying attention. Every bottle of disinfectant has a warning label. What's going on, Too Tall? And that guy from Texas. Well, you're a good guy, Trailing Fools, but trying to stand up for a moron that makes suggestions from the press room. Wow. Dangerous. Very dangerous. Yes, it will kill it outside the body. Never ingest or by injection, use a disinfectant. Never. Never, 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 never try it. Oh, sorry, I didn't. What's up, DK?
No, what's happening, man?
How you doing?
Good. Yeah, that guy was good. You know what? We are in a position, you and I, we've talked about it a million times. We're in a shitty ass position, and we've been. That's why don't vote freaking so many people I've heard, and I look and I cringe and I say, you're just out of your mind. Don't vote party lines. That makes no sense. You don't know who you're voting in. We're talking about our lives and everything, how we live, our freedom. You don't know who we're voting for.
Like I said too, and you've basically said it too. Neither side is a good alternative.
No. And you know what? I don't exactly. I don't care which side it doesn't matter to me. I don't fucking DR. I don't care. You know what? It's the right person who's. They all have their own agendas. We know this, but whoever's agenda is, how do I say it, better for us? I guess. I don't know.
Well, that guy from Texas.
I know.
After that press conference, CDC and Poison Control Center calls went up 121% because regular people that aren't knowledgeable or smart enough to just look up the definitions of the words that are involved in the situation. Disinfectant is to kill a bacteria. Bacteria is a living cell. A virus is a non-living molecule. So disinfectant will not work on something that isn't living. Facts.
This is why, Motor, let me add real quick right there. This is why when you go to the doctor, because you feel like shit and it's a virus and he can't give you crap. They don't give you a script. They don't give you the Z-Pack. They don't give you penicillin. Sorry, take some cold medicine. Viruses, it's a completely different animal. I mean, I don't know.
It's different if it's on the outside.
Yeah, and Motor, you're right. There are people out there that just, and it's not right. You can't make fun of them. They don't know. What's common sense to us? I know that guy from Texas. Don't get me wrong. I have my own feelings and thoughts, but I can't. I'm not ready to go out and say there's a bunch of. Well, there are a bunch of fucking idiots.
There are.
But there are people that they're not idiots. They just don't know. It
especially when this president of a country is making suggestions, people are going to follow.
I almost sent something in Motor. The whole freaking I had a lot right now, and then I just deleted and said, fuck that.
That's false information right there. That's false information right there.
What's like Tide Pod? What?
No, this one right here on the screen.
A virus is living.
Look up the definition of virus.
You know what? It doesn't make a difference if it's living or not, honestly. What it comes down to is he is not in any position. That'd be the same as you or I. Just because he has more responsibilities. He has a lot of responsibilities. You shouldn't be talking like that. He shouldn't be walking up on the podium and embarrassing. I have no shame at all. Very little filter. Motor knows, I'm sorry. But I got fucking embarrassed. And I never blush, and I didn't, but I got cringy because I don't know.
You could see the doctor when he said that. She immediately like stared into space and kind of like you could see her take a little breath, like, oh my goodness, Now, did you just say that?
At the same time, I'm not saying that. So we're talking about an R. At the same time, I'm not saying that anyone on another party. The only parties we ever have are the R and the D. So the D, I'm not saying that. Yeah, they're full of shit too. That's why
I wish we had a third party.
We need some choice, dude. But that's why I was saying don't vote party lines. That makes no sense. You don't even know who. Honestly, we had no clue when we elected Obama for the first time. He didn't give us his agenda. We had no clue what his plan was. That's fucking scary.
Yeah, well, we knew if you had enough common sense, we knew he was running on the Democratic platform.
Understandable, but you know what I mean. We need to know we need to know what their plan is, because we could get stuck. Well, we already are.
Yeah, we're already going down that hill. We're not.
I
don't think there's a way back up.
It's gonna take a bit, and honestly, and that's why Motor's saying that, hey, don't vote party lines. Just use common sense if you have some. If not, talk to a friend that does. I guess it's not about a party. It's not about a politician. It's not about Republican, Democrat. It's about what we call our government, who runs our lives. We need to know what their fucking plan is.
Unfortunate thing is, though, is when they say they got a plan,
and
90% of it never is accomplished.
And even if we could take them to court, I mean, there's no way. Biden literally said, get the job.
Get the jab.
Listen, that guy from Texas, I don't remember her name because I was livid. I was pissed off. I fucking bullshit. It was a Democratic. I don't know if she was a senator. Motor, you might. I know everyone. You'll remember it. She looked at the camera, and when the prices of everything, she's like, "It's not like you're missing a meal. Relax. Stop complaining." I was like, "Who? How? What the fuck was that?" That's amazing. But remember, I don't care what party she is. My point is, we elected these people. We need to know who we're elected, because I'm not a child. And for you to say, just because we jacked up, I don't know, dude. Right now, I don't know. Think about everything you buy for. Forget about gas. Think about food, I guess. I work for a grocery store company. I see prices. I'm like, oh, I eat every day. That's what we have to remember. And for some politician, I don't care what party, who the fuck, what state, to say, stop complaining. It's not like you missed a meal. I was like, what? Literally. It was I was bullshit. I mean, obviously I'm laughing how I laughed, but I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's not funny, but it's a nervous laugh. It's a nervous laugh.
Yeah, it's screwed.
It's like
I was like, holy shit, we're fucked. But it is what it is.
There's certain things that are not involved in politics, but people make them political.
Yes.
Like the prices. Most prices are not controlled by politics.
You know what? That's one of the biggest bullshit things. And also, there's a lot. Like when a president comes in and goes, look what all the bullshit that we go through, inflation, all that crap. It's not just from the last president we had. Like whoever gets elected next, when for instance, Biden, oh, look, this is what we inherited. This has been all this crap. This is us. This is how our government has been working. This is a long time coming, and we're just feeling everything that we've done in the past. You can't blame sitting presidents for shit, and you can't blame the president before. It's the whole fucking government.
And it's like I've said, you've probably said, others have said, both sides are controlled by an agenda or a certain lobby, certain companies.
Yep.
It's money. It's all about the money.
But it's scary. Listen. Oh, I can't remember his name. Who was the guy with the island? He killed him. He ended up killing himself in jail. The guy with the island.
Oh, Epstein?
Yes.
And all the politicians from both sides in different countries were involved with this guy.
So it just blows my fucking mind when both sides, everyone just points fingers and says, oh, this person says this, and they talk shit about each other. I mean, get down and dirty and talk smack about family. And you don't do that. And first of all, you all suck. Who the hell? We need to know. Eddie, I know. Rocks. Yeah, Motor is so fucking true. I mean, so we're just gonna make the best choice. Motor, what did you say? We don't your last words like an hour ago. We're our choice right now for running is not the best, but what's our alternative? You know what? Listen, this is something I missed when I was saying that it's when a new person is elected president, the shit that he comes in, he inherited it, but it's not just from the person behind. When I was talking about that, I meant to say that, of course, I just flapped my gum so much I can't remember what the hell I wanted to say.
Well, they run on a policy that's been basically written in stone for the last 50 fucking years.
Shit means no one likes change, and we know that. But for Christ's sakes, the federal government won't allow marijuana. Listen, whether you smoke or not, whether you believe in drugs or not, read why it was banned, first of all. I mean, we can go and smoke tomato leaves if you fucking want. The fact of the matter is, why it was banned way back when is bullshit. And they're still carrying on that law. Why? I don't know.
It was basically for the pharmaceutical companies. Also,
thank you.
You can grow more hemp faster in a bigger quantity of it. They could have made.
That's the reason I was thinking of the hemp.
There's hempcrete. There's hemp's made of rope. You can make paper out of it. You can make all these other things that these industries wanted to stop that.
Motor, to add to the point and exactly what we're making here, politicians, everything runs by money, and we were talking companies, pressure from what are they called? Freaking lobbyists or whatever they're called. The main reason why it was banned is the hemp thing. That was huge. There were, what the hell was it? Ah, fuck. I'm stoned. But they line their pockets, basically what it comes down to. It. You know what? My phone's getting blown up, and I'm supposed. Yes.
Supposed to be at somebody else's panel.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be with Tanner right now. 1 stone and 3 cats. All right. Thanks, Moto. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. You have a good one. Take care now.
You too. Night stream.
I appreciate you stopping up. Whoops. Trying to drop the link again. I did not pin it. If anybody wants to stop out, you're more than welcome. We do not have to discuss this any further. I really don't want to. I really don't have to, because I think I've proven my point. It doesn't matter who's in the presidency or the leader of our country. We're going downhill. And none of your or anybody else's false narratives are going to change it. Ezra Crowley, good evening. Well, now they've noticed that there's a huge profit in cannabis, so they're using it to get more taxes. I forgot where it was. It was one of the country or states, Colorado or Washington. They said they made like $5 billion in 1 year off of it. Maybe I'm wrong on the money estimate, but it was incredible how much they made. And they use it to reduce the deficit for that state. Each state has its own deficit. On top of it, you add them all together, and that's where you get the whole deficit for the United States, which we don't manufacture anymore. We're not putting our own people to work like they used to. We're passing the jobs onto the manufacturing jobs onto other countries where they can have cheaper pay. Because they found out we can't live off of that pay. And we're demanding more. So instead of giving us more, they're moving out and moving them jobs somewhere else. And that's why a lot of our major cities have collapsed. Them companies aren't there paying taxes no more. The big three left Detroit high and dry decades ago. That's why Detroit died. Basically died. It was abandoned. This city had 1.6 million, somewhere around there in the 70s. You had over 700, we'll say 700,000, give or take 100,000 or two, paying taxes. And I think it's more. I think it was more. Maybe I'm wrong. Paying taxes. It's a metropolis. It's over 1 million people. Was once 2 million people. You need taxpayers to support that city, to have buses, to have schooling, public libraries, transportation, all these things, clearing roads, cutting trees down, around power lines and everything. There's a lot of things that cities need to pay for, and all them things need employees. Well, the employees all left, and then employees paid taxes. All that tax money's gone. It goes out to the suburbs. It goes somewhere else. Some of it even goes to other countries. Cities have been abandoned. And the only people that are left is the people that couldn't afford to get out. And now people blame the people in the inner cities. Homelessness has reached record levels, and it has been going up for every presidency. It's not just one. Don't blame it on one side. Both sides have been letting it get worse because they want to use other topics for talking points. Nobody wants to address the homeless problem. Nobody wants to address vets being homeless. Nobody wants to address the fact that when you're depressed and you have nothing and nobody and no money, you turn to substances to, what's the word, alleviate the pain, or alleviate, or to forget your worries. People turn to substances, alcohol, cigarettes, food even. People get depressed. They start eating like fucking it's going out of style. Everything they fucking like in the kitchen or in the cupboards, they start eating because they're depressed. Some people use drugs. And some people use hard drugs. And they made it easier to get hard drugs by making it a different form, like cocaine. It went from freebasing to crack, and it was sold cheaper. Powder cocaine used to be the rich man's drug. Crack was the poor man's drug. Now, for the last couple decades, pharmaceutical drugs were the thing. Then some of them hit the black market. Then you have other countries making these drugs and shipping it to the Americas. Which, if you look, most drugs that are brought in through the border, 80% of them drugs are brought in by Americans, not a foreigner. You can look that stat up, might be 75% to 80. I don't know. It's around that number. Americans. Americans want to make profit. And they profit off of selling drugs to all their friends. There's a lot of Americans out there doing that. They're selling drugs to their friends and the friends of friends and people that are walking the streets. It's very deadly. Just a slow death. It's a slow decay. You don't have to believe me. I'm probably not right. I'm not a smart guy. Even though I sound smart, I'm not an intelligent, a genius. When I say I'm not a smart guy, I'm not saying that I'm don't have common sense and I'm not educated. I'm just not the smartest guy. I don't claim to be. But I am intelligent to a point. I have common sense. I listen to specific words that are said. I don't ball it in and then look at it from one side. I try to look at things from all sides. Well, methadone was once used to get people off of heroin, and now it's become like a crutch. The last few decades, it's a crutch to try to get people off heroin. I doubt methadone's even a fucking good for you. You know, Nancy, I voted Republican first when I was young, and never was a fan of wars and that. And Bush started with Iraq. I did some studies, and the Bush family had so many ties to Kuwait and Iraq and Iran and Saudi Arabia. I mean, all the politicians. But the Bush family was one of the worst. I think it was Roosevelt. Who's the one before Kennedy? Is it Roosevelt or Eisenhower? Get those two confused. The one before Kennedy froze the Bush family's assets. It was like $50 million. And that was a lot of money back then. I mean, a lot. 50 million in the 50s. And it was because of corruption. It was because them, Henry Ford, and other cronies were helping the Nazis build. Henry Ford built trucks for the Nazis. He was the only person outside of Germany ever to receive, was it the Golden Eagle award? It was something, double eagle. I don't know what it was, but Henry Ford's the only person. Well, he's only American. I'll guarantee you that. But I'm pretty sure he was the only person outside of Germany ever to get that award. You have to know your politics. The Clintons, they were in government before he fucking got into presidency. Duh. Obviously, he's corrupt. Any politician that has been in the game for 10 years has learned from the predecessors, or whatever that word is, the people that were before him. People that are in the game teach the ones, or try to tell them how to do things, and they gather the information and they become just like the ones that are in power. Was it Eisenhower, Nancy? I always get the two confused. Always have. I don't know why, but I think it is Eisenhower. Yeah, because I think Eisenhower came after Truman, right? Roosevelt was previous. Yes, I think Roosevelt got us out of the Depression. I might be wrong about that too. You know, even the Iran-Iraq thing, they had a war. We supplied both sides with weapons. It's basically like giving both your enemies rifles and saying, okay, see who can shoot the other one first. I'll give you some more. I'll give you some money to whoever wins. I don't know how it's done, but we supplied both sides. That's the way we've always been, it seems like. At least our politicians, not us as people, but our politicians have always looked out to make money for them and the government, no matter how much it took, no matter who was in the way. Steamroll over them. That's all they do. To get back in power, they put down the other side. They move on certain agendas that most people will agree upon. And most of these agendas that they push forth have nothing to do with political matters. They might have a slight bit of, politics involved, but some things have nothing to do with taking care of the normal, everyday citizen. American citizens. Screw fucking anybody outside our borders. I'm talking about us, our homeless. We have fucking so many single mothers out there trying to take care of kids. We have vets out there that are on drugs, living home on the streets. I mean, we have some deep issues, some deep problems that are not going away, and nobody's even trying to do anything about them because there's so much fucking rhetoric and bullshit being said about different issues. Nobody's concerned about us. Even us in these chats and on panels, we discuss certain things that have nothing to fucking do with us. We're complaining about money going somewhere, money going there, money going there. We've been giving money to fucking countries as long as I can remember. It's not something new. Biden didn't invent it. Trump didn't invent it. It's been going on. The United States was funding European countries because they were trying to build up blockade to keep the communist government of Russia out. So we were funding all these countries. There's many of them. I don't know all the names, but we've been funding them to keep Russia back, to keep communist China back, to keep them in their place. Some of it has been successful, but we've killed probably millions of people in the process. And still, it goes on every day. And it will go on next presidency, whoever it is. And it will probably keep going through each presidency. They'll have war after war after war after war. Some people will sit there and say, well, there was no wars during, or he didn't start no wars. Well, there were wars going on. Because your party already started them 2 decades ago. You don't need to start one. They're already going on. Now you got proxy wars. Marissa just went live. If anybody wants to go over to Marissa's. Big D, I actually stopped watching television news and all that 2-3 years ago myself. But I've always tried to base my opinions on multiple news sources. Reuters is one of them that is very good. It's more of a middle of the road. Was the AP is another one that's middle of the road. Anybody else is one side or the other. But if you gather information from both sides, you look for the things that they're both saying to be true. That's the first thing you look for. That's real news. When one side says, oh, there was an earthquake over here and it was 7.2. The other one says, on the other side says it was 7.0. And then they say there was 2,000 dead. And the other side says, well, 1,500. Well, maybe they're just not gathering the information from the same person, or maybe they're not keeping up to date or up to time, present tense, or, some may be getting information from the wrong fucking place. We don't know. But to use common sense and to look at the subject of the matter, that's what matters. You take care, Marianne. Thank you for stopping in. I never heard about that, Big D. Never heard about that. See, that's something I'd have to look up. I can't take your word for it. See, there's certain things that we should never take word. Not saying you're wrong, not calling it a lie, but see, you've informed me of something that I didn't know. So now I will go check different sources. Nobody likes to apologize for their mistakes. Oh. Trust me, I make mistakes. Have I apologized for all of them? I doubt it. But when I make guesstimations, like estimations, guesstimation, I try to put it out there that I may be wrong by a little bit, or I may be wrong, and maybe I'm using the wrong words. I try to always say that if I'm not, I don't know it by heart. Because people do say wrong words. I took contemporary social problems. The teacher wrote a paragraph or two of a story. She set the paper down on the front desk, let's say on the left side of the room. I don't know if it was the left or the right, probably the left. And said, change one word and pass it back. And proceed to move it up to the next row and repeat. Everybody changed one word. When she received the paper back from the front on the right, or the left, whatever it was, I'm pretty sure it was the right, she read the story. And it had very little to do with whatever she first wrote, because she had it written down on another piece of paper and read it off. And then she read the grapevine effect, as she called it. Because one person changes a word mistakenly or on purpose or just not knowing any better. We all do it when we describe something. Not all the time, but there's a lot of times when we're not in tune with the subject that we're talking about and we only heard it from somebody or we heard it from a news source. We change it maybe by one word, or we don't say it properly. So it changes the meaning. And when you hear it from friend to friend or news source to friend, it gets misconstrued and everything turns into what now a lot of people like to call fake news. Well, yeah, if you're believing your fucking goddamn friend over the facts, where you do your own research, because your friend is probably wrong somewhere. You have to look up all news sources, look up definitions of words when other places are not using that word, and the other place uses a certain word. You should probably look that word up if you don't know the definition. Exactly, Darlene. And that means that I may be incorrect about something because I heard it through the grapevine. So you might want to go to the source from remember, from the horse's mouth. If you haven't heard it from the horse's mouth, it's probably not true, or it's not precise. Maybe true, but it's not precise. Oh, I agree with that. I don't read pundits. No, I want facts. Reuters and AP are middle of the road. The most middle in the road. But I do look at Fox News, CNN, other news sources too. When everybody's saying the same thing, and there's 5, 6 different sources saying the same fucking thing, that's real. When one side's saying one thing and one side's saying the other, you better do some deep searching now. Because you can't take one side or the others over the other. You have to think on your own. Don't fucking believe Joe Biden. Don't believe fucking Donald Trump. Don't believe Nancy Pelosi. Don't believe fucking Mitch McConnell. These motherfuckers are pushing agendas. And they know people will parrot what they say. That's a good question. And they chosen the winner. I bet possibly it's been rigged, but now everybody's saying it's rigged. I think that's bullshit, because the players go out there. Now you could pay off one player. I don't think they're paying off a whole fucking team to say just go out there and lose. Some of them players, not some, all of them, 99% of them players get into the league to make accomplishments, to break records, to win that ultimate prize. There's no price for happiness. The only prize for accomplishing something is sometimes sacrificing one's self. And we have a problem nowadays that very little people will sacrifice themselves for one another or for the good of people. We've ran out of that. Now, people can say, well, we send soldiers to this country, we send soldiers to this country, we fought wars over here, we fought wars over there. Those people did put a sacrifice up. They're brave men. But they're also fooled, just like we are, or they've had family in the military, which is an honorable thing. If my father was in the military, I probably would have wanted to be in the military. My father was into carpentry and, fixing things and all that. What did I fall into? Same kinds of work. Carpentry wasn't my thing, so I went to metals. Nepotism is in everybody's family. We all want our son to follow in our footsteps. And when I already have my foot in the door somewhere, I'm going to try to push that door open a little further for my son or my daughter. That's just what we do. Look at our presidencies. Look at our politicians. Look at the big wigs, big companies. Ford, they passed it on to the next kid. It doesn't change names. It doesn't change people. Maybe they got so rich where they just step back and they fucking have other people running it. So many people are just following. It's disappointing.